Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, where today I have a couple goals, one of them being going back to the nether, because today I want to get some netherite tools, specifically a netherite pickaxe. Now why do I need netherite? Well, we're going to be going after one of the strongest, or one of the stronger metals or ores in this game, and that is AllTheModium. Now for AllTheModium, this is a step up from netherite, and you need obviously netherite to mine it. We will need a couple things before we can actually obtain it or even use it, but one thing I do want to do is go to the nether for that. But first, I think we need to do a little more crafting with ours. That is because I have a good way to find netherite quite easily, and that is using the explosion spell. So we can just select that. It says I don't have enough XP. We need 3 TNT. I think that's a fire essence and a fire charge. So let's see what we can do about that. We already have the TNT. Let's see if we have a fire charge. We have a single one. And then it was the fire essence, I believe. Yes. So for this, we're going to need flint and steel, a torch, and gunpowder. Now that we have everything, we can just toss it. Oh, yeah. I forgot that's not how you do it. And then we need a source gem. And once this is done crafting the fire essence, it'll immediately fly over to the table where we need it. And there you go. Just like that, we have the glyph of explosion. Now, another thing we need for this glyph to be effective is a fireworks star, which, if I remember correctly, is 1 gunpowder, 1 gold nugget, and 1 red dye. Thankfully, we do have everything we need. Now if we go over here, we can search for the AOE and just throw it in. Of course, we learned that. And now we can make an AOE spell. So let's make a projectile. We'll find our explosion and do as much of the AOE as we can. So the reason we're doing this is because netherite, as you probably already know, takes a lot of mining. So by using this explosion spell, we can, instead of mining, just explode the entire area, which obviously should help speed up the process. Another thing would be a ring of lesser discount. This is quite expensive, but this will make our spells cost less mana. So obviously, I think this is a good investment. I think we can carry up to 2 of these, so I'll go ahead and make 2. And then we need 4 source gems, 8 diamonds, and another 4 ender pearls. So we need some more 4. And then we need another 4, if I'm not mistaken, of these ender pearls, which we have stashed away over here. As you can tell, I have had this running a little in the background, and it's already quite full. So I'll definitely have to upgrade the storage solution for this in the future, but for now it works, so I don't think I really needed to do much for that. Now we can deposit everything we need. I will need to take these back. And then our diamonds, and then these. Now this ring of potential goes in here. And I think this does use source. Or maybe not. Yeah, I guess it doesn't use source. And here it is, our ring of lesser discount. Yeah, I would like to make a greater discount ring, but we need blaze rods and I don't think we have enough. Yeah, because we also need blaze rods to upgrade our armor, but we don't have enough, I don't think. Oh, we do have 14, so I guess I was mistaken. I don't remember ever getting that many, but I guess I did at some point. Now that I think about it, it might have been in those quest rewards that I claimed a while ago. But yeah, so I guess we can go ahead and upgrade this while I'm at it. So it's the same recipe, just with 2 blaze rods instead of the ender pearls. I guess we should get another set for the rings. And here it is. Reduce the cost of all spells by 20. And when it's worn as a ring, it'll also give us plus 10 max mana and plus 1 mana regen. So of course this goes into our ring slot. And yes, we have 2 ring slots, so we can make another one of these. And I forgot to get the blaze rods. We need another 4 diamonds. And of course, another 2 source gems. Now, in the future, I think I will most likely start cutting out most of the enchanting process in this area, because as you can see, it does take quite a bit of time, but I think for now I'll keep it in. But yeah, there you go. We have our 2 rings of greater discount. So together we reduce the cost of all spells by 40. We get plus 20 max mana, and we get plus 2 mana regen. So now if we go to our spell, as you can see, the cost has been reduced. And we can't quite max it out, but we can add another one. Another 2. Okay. So, all of this was so that we can go to the nether. Oh. Man, I always forget to toggle on my engine. But now that we're here, I can kind of just shoot this anywhere, really. I guess I might as well name it something. I think just something simple, like explosion. And from what I remember, this should be quite powerful, so we might want to stand back a little. Yeah, let's go from here. Yeah. So as you can see, this is going to help immensely when we're trying to find any sort of netherite, or really any type of ore in the nether. Although it is very expensive on the mana. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and upgrade my armor. Okay, and the way to upgrade your armor is actually extremely simple. You need 2 blaze rods and then your armor of choice. Since I went with the Arcana sap, that's what I'm going to input. But if you went with any of the other R's gear, then that should also work. Yeah, such as the Sorcerer's Wrap or the Battle Mage's Gameson. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce that, but I think it's Gameson. So correct me if I'm wrong. And just like that, we have a tier 2. So we can compare the stats. For the Arcanist Rose, we get 6 armor, 30 max mana, and 1 mana regen. So I guess we'll see what that ends up as. And this transformation will use up a bit of your source. As you can see, tier 2 uses up 2500. Now we get plus 60 mana regen and plus 2, or plus 60 max mana and plus 2 mana regen. So exactly twice as much as before. Now that we have our entire set upgraded, can put it on and we can see how much this costs now. As you can see, the cost went down because our mana pool increased. And now I think I can afford to add another one. And now that we have this maxed out, we can go. Now, another thing I was just looking at is making an amulet of mana regen. So I think we'll go ahead and make that as well, because we will have to do quite a bit of mining with our new spell. So I think this is probably a good investment. So we need 2 diamonds, 2 gold, 4 source gem. And just like that, we have our amulet of mana regen. This one goes in your necklace slot. And yeah. So we can check our stats if we click this sword here in the top right of our character in our inventory. And if we go ahead and select hide unchanged, we can see all the ones that are changed or that have increased. And as we can see, our armor is at 15, but our mana regen is at 22.31. Our max mana is at 565. So if we take all our armor off, we can see our base mana regen and our max mana is not too high. Of course, this is still while we have our greater discount rings and the amulet. But yeah, so we've improved quite a lot, and I think it's finally time to go and try finding our netherite. Oh, for some reason our armor didn't equip. And you can really see how powerful it is. But one thing I might do is I might end up taking off maybe 1 or 2 of these AoEs so that it's a little cheaper at least, so we can use it a little faster. I don't want to start mining too much miscellaneous ores because obviously my pickaxe is about to break, so you know, use it with caution, but I do still want to be pretty good with enough ores for everything. I've never seen this ore before. I don't know what it does. So I guess I'll get back to you once I finally find some netherite. Okay, so I found our first bit of ancient debris. And if I'm not mistaken, using ours, we can do something very interesting. Yes, so I'm back at the base, and what I need is a tablet of scrying. So we'll go ahead and make that really quick. And there we go, that's the tablet of scrying. And another thing we're going to need is a brazier. We're also going to need a bit more in the way of source gems, so I'll go ahead and make these real quick. And I'll be back. Well, I've made a little less than a stack, a little more than half a stack. So I'm gonna have more than enough now. And what else do I need? I need another arcane pedestal. I'll go ahead and make all 4 while I'm at it. And there we go. So for this to work, we will need, we'll need our ancient debris. And if I remember correctly, we'll also need a manipulation essence. Which is simply redstone, a clock, and a button. I eventually do want to get this set up so that I can mass produce these essences. But for now, I don't think I have the resources for that. And we also have other things to worry about, so I'm not too worried about it at the moment. Okay, I think this is everything we need. So all that's left is to go back. As you can see, I did quite a lot of exploding to get to this point. But okay, so we add our ritual brazier. We add our tablet of scrying. We put in our manipulation essence and an ancient debris. Unfortunately, it also added one on top. But okay, now that we have all of it, we just have to click. And it should work. There it is. So this, as you can see, it says it reveals certain blocks around you. Now, which blocks does it reveal? Well, it reveals the blocks, the block which you actually fed it. So since we fed it ancient debris, it'll show us where all the ancient debris is. As you can see, those lights, it's all ancient debris. So we can go ahead and just start mining. And just like that, we found even more. So this ritual is honestly really useful. There is another way to do this, is also using the potions of Oresight from Potion Master, but those are a little more involved, and honestly I think this is just way simpler. So I think I'm gonna go around, collect as much ancient debris as I can before this runs out, and then I'll see you then. Just a word of caution, you might want to be careful when using the spell, because as you can see, I used it and I immediately got drenched in lava and I almost died. So yeah, be very careful with that. It has happened again. This almost killed me. So the potion has run out and I am on the last bit of my pickaxe's durability, so I think this is just fine. Just mining up the last bits that I found, and then we're out of this. So now that we're back home, we can really see how much or how powerful this spell actually is. We got 54 ancient debris on our first run, so obviously incredibly powerful. Yeah. So we need to obviously smelt this first to be able to use it for anything. So we'll leave it here for now. We need a smithing table. And obviously we need a smithing template, which means we will need to go back into the nether. But for now, I just wanted to get this smelting and get that, as well as empty my inventory a bit. And now that I remember, I do also need to repair my pickaxe a little. Well, I might as well. Okay, so I just ran across this. It's really not that far away from my base. As you can see, there's the portal in the house. But I never noticed this was here. And I'm not entirely sure what mod this is from. Eternal Starlight. I've never heard of the mod, and I have no clue what it does, but this definitely looks like a portal, so I think that might be a portal. I'm not sure what he does, but I'm a little afraid to interact with him, so I think I'll leave that for later. What we need is a smithing template, which I think it should be fairly easy to find. Because if I remember correctly, this bastion here that we have, this is exactly the one we need. But I'm a little afraid to go in. So I guess here goes nothing. Oh, well, first try. We got our smithing template. We'll take the chest plate. Okay, well, that was quite fast, so we can simply get out of here. Now that we're back home, we can immediately try crafting a few of these. But looking at it now, I am running out of diamonds quite quickly, so I really need to get this done before that. Okay, well, we should have all our scraps here. And we just craft up the simple recipe for netherite. Alright, so the way this works, this is simple vanilla stuff, but I'll just go over it just in case. You add your pickaxe, you add the ingot, whatever it is that you're trying to upgrade to. This will change depending on the template and the tier of weapon or gear that you want. So then you just add your template, and just like that, we have a netherite pick. And this is what we need to go ahead and start mining AllTheModium. Now, how will we actually find this? Where can we even find it? How do we get it? You know, all those questions are probably things you're asking yourself right now. And again, ours is coming in clutch with all of these different spells and rituals. And the ritual we need is this locate structure. The ritual of locate structure. Thankfully, it is quite easy to make. And there you go. And now the way this works is you need to present it, or you need to use an item on it that is related to the structure that you want. So the way to actually check that is if you go to the uses for this tablet, it'll show you all the structures that you can locate and what blocks you actually need to locate them. So what we need is the ancient city. And as you can see, ancient city requires deep slate bricks. Now that's actually quite easy to make. So just like we had done before, this should be quite easy. Just put your ritual brazier, your tablet of locate structure, and then you click on it with the item or block of the associated structure that you want, and boom. Now we just click it and it'll give you a compass. Yeah, it'll give you this compass, and that will point you to wherever you want to go. So clearly we have to go this way. We're going so fast with our jetpack that the world is struggling to load in. Oh my god, what is this? I have never seen this before. This is actually kind of crazy. I'm definitely gonna have to come explore this. This looks insane. That's actually so cool. Okay, so it seems we've made it to our destination. And I guess it's all the way down there. Now, this is right next to a meteor. And this is from Applied Energistics 2. So I will actually go ahead and mine all of this, because you need this, the mysterious cube. This will come in handy later when we start getting back into Applied Energistics, but for now, just know that you need this, so you can just mine that. And we can mine these quartz blocks. And just don't touch the flawless budding Certus quartz, because if you break this, it'll no longer be flawless, and it'll turn into one of these types. These are the damaged ones. As you can see, this one's called chipped budding Certus quartz, and this one will degrade over time. So obviously you don't want to break the flawless one. And there is a very simple method to transport these, which I'll show off later. But for now, I think I want to just mark this on the minimap. And we'll call this AE2 Meteor. Not entirely sure what this is. I've never seen netherrack or anything nether related on the overworld. Well, I guess I'll get back to you once I find the deep dark. Okay. Well, I landed straight on the portal. So this is actually quite lucky. And now what we need to do is locate AllTheModium. Now the reason we need to be here in the deep dark, specifically in an ancient city, is because AllTheModium only spawns in ancient cities. It doesn't spawn anywhere else in the world. There's only one other place in which it spawns, and that is the mining dimension. The mining dimension is where we're actually going to set up our quarry once we can have that up and running and have enough power for that. But for now, the only way to get this in the overworld is to find an ancient city. And you'll typically find it scattered along the walls or the ceiling, you know, just anywhere along the walls of an ancient city. And it looks sort of like gold. So check anything that looks like gold and you'll eventually find it. Here it is. This is AllTheModium. This is our first bit of AllTheModium. So this is what it looks like. As you can see, it looks somewhat like gold, at least from a distance. It just glows a lot more. Make sure you do have your netherite. Make sure you do have your netherite pickaxe equipped, and you cannot vein mine this. As you saw, if you try to vein mine this, it just won't work. You have to actually mine this one by one, and then you can get it. As far as I'm aware, fortune does affect this ore. So if possible, you want to have as high a fortune value as possible whenever you're going to mine for this stuff, because it will affect how much you get. While I'm here, I think I might as well pick up as many diamonds as I can, since we are running a little low back at the base. Yeah, I think I've gathered enough, so I think it's time to go back home. So we're back home, and we had quite the good haul of items and blocks. So what can we do with AllTheModium? Well, quite a lot actually. I think we can even put it through this, and if I remember correctly, which I hope I do, I think we can put this through all of these. Yes, I do believe so. And then into the smelting factory. So this does work with all of those, thankfully enough. So we have our first AllTheModium nuggets, or ingots I should say. Obviously, the very first thing I want to make is probably some tools. Like probably a sword would be good. Yes, so we need to get a netherite sword first. Now that we have our netherite sword, we can go up to AllTheModium, but to be able to do that, we actually need this AllTheModium smithing template, which it's found in suspicious clay in ancient cities. So obviously we're gonna have to go back to that ancient city if we want to do that, but at the moment I don't think that's a top priority, so I'm not gonna go back just for that at the moment. We have other things that require more attention. One of those things would actually be our quarry. Now, I usually do like to, and I've mentioned this before, but I usually like to use the ArthTools builder, this bad boy. So this one is honestly probably the best. Well, at least in my opinion, probably the best ever for digging large areas and getting a bunch of ores. But it consumes, I think, up to 20,000 RF a tick, which we simply do not have. And if it doesn't supply that constantly, then it's going to be extremely slow. So I think I want to go with the digital builder. I'm not sure how much this one uses, but we can make it more efficient. Oh no, as I'm looking at this now, I didn't realize that it needed vibranium. So it seems we're gonna have to go with the good old builder. So for that we need some AllTheModium nuggets, and this is quite an easy recipe. The hardest part of it was just the AllTheModium, but now we have it. So obviously this is going to be our query. And this thing is so powerful, but it does take up a lot of power, which we do not have. So I think next episode, we're gonna go ahead and try to get a little more power. There is something that I want to get running, that being these wind generators. And these are just good to have in general. So yeah, I don't have enough to actually make this at the moment, but I will get this up and running next episode. Unfortunately, I think that's all I have time for today. Thank you so much for watching. See ya.